The following podcast does contain mature language and, more importantly, spoilers for the MSQ of Final Fantasy XIV, up to and including Endwalker. You have been warned, and now, on with the show. From the many realms of Atheris to the distant reaches of the Two Moons via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 9 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, March 6th of 2022. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and with me, as always, are my wonderful co-hosts. First off, an artist with a cat in her lap that loves long walks on the beach and listening to Linkin Park and Limsa Lominsa. Hi, Megan.
Hi. That was quite a time. I stopped in Limsa Lominsa while I was waiting around for something, and there was an entire band of Lalafels playing a perfectly harmonized version of Linkin Park's entire catalog.
Did they try very hard? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, but in the end, it didn't even matter.
Fair enough. And with her, as always, is a man whose dad jokes, much like his chicken tenders, are ready to fry. Hi, Brandon.
Good morning / afternoon / evening, depending on when you're listening to this, everybody. I have a question for you guys. Did you know that there was a shortage of botanists early on in Endwalker? Yeah, it turns out they were having trouble logging in.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's fair. Kind of relevant side story to that. I made about 3 million gil in my first 48 hours of Endwalker just getting on a botanist and chopping logs. So I did what the rest of the botanists couldn't do. I logged in and I started to log for everyone who couldn't log.
And the Carpenters Guild thanks you for your service.
I'm sure they do. Oh boy, it's been a couple weeks. Last time we talked about a live letter. This time we're going to be talking about a live letter again because we're just that fortunate. I mean, there's a lot of things that were definitely repeated, but we found out a few new things too. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that. But as always, let's go around the table, see what we've all been up to. I think we're going to have relatively different experiences as far as what we've been doing, because I'm pretty sure, Megan, that my time in game is very different from yours. So how's Asphodelos treating you?
We're stuck on phase 1 of P4. We got down to 4%, but we keep hitting in Rage. And I went back to Bard because I enjoy suffering.
What happened? You were all in on Dancer last time.
Because, like, a Bard just buffs the raid so much more.
The guilt.
Yeah, basically. And it's like they were really trying not to pressure me, but I was like, but my also you just do more damage as Bard, but also Bard is like 100 times more complicated than Dancer. Dancer's literally like, I press the buttons when the buttons light up. Whee! And Bard is like, okay, I have my global cooldowns, I have my off global cooldowns, and I gotta hit him. I gotta late weave, and I gotta make sure that I hit enough global cooldowns during this one thing, and I gotta stack it with this other thing. And oh my god. And then I'm doing that on top of, like, Pnax, which, okay. So, you guys have fought the Vampire Dad, correct?
Indeed.
Okay.
It's been a while, but yes.
So you know when he puts the like elemental stuff on the floor?
Yes.
And like, yeah. Okay, so in Savage mode, that you can't be on the tile that is doing the thing, and each square does its own bullshit, and he activates 2 of them at a time, and it's totally random which ones he does. And so it's like, and he's also like knocking us all over the place. And, like, I'm trying to do a complicated rotation and, like, remember, like, and, like, he's gonna fly to one side of the arena and do a big attack, and so you have to get to that side of the arena, but you have to, like, read it on his thing. There's no, like, visual indication of which one he's going to. So you have to read the cast score. Oh my god. I'm always getting flung into the wall because I hit my knockback immunity too late. That's my big problem.
That fight definitely feels like on Savage, it is patting your head, rubbing your belly, chewing bubble gum, and trying to whistle in Dixie at the same time somehow.
Yeah. and like reciting a poem. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
From memory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've also I think I've gotten to the point where I've gotten better at playing Bard, so it's not as frustrating. I'm finally doing green parses, which I know is not like elite for a lot of people, but it's improvement for me. And I just keep getting better the longer that we do the other fights, because you have to, when you're doing Savage, you have to figure out like when to do your cooldowns and when things are gonna go immune and like when you're gonna have to run around. But yeah, oh man.
So
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. So because I haven't really done any kind of Savage rating, I haven't done, what Hydaelyn Extreme yet or any of that. I've heard about parsing and that exists, and it doesn't surprise me that exists. But when you say you're parsing green, is green basically you're doing all right to handle this content kind of grade?
Think of it like loot color, like green, blue, and purple. So I'm doing green. Several people in our raid do blue and occasionally spike up to purple, but not always. And me being the bard, basically being a bard, it's sort of like you're never going to do great damage, but you'll do mediocre damage, but you'll make it so everybody else does great damage.
Yeah, you push everyone else into blue and purple.
Yeah. So, but it's a parse is you against everybody else that plays your class. So I'm in, I think a green is like in 30%, like I'm it's like the percentage towards the top or something like that. I'm not super, I don't log myself. I have a raid team member that does that, or several of them.
Of course, because you wouldn't use software like that yourself.
No, of course not. But you can also, like, especially later in the week, you can go into Party Finder and find, I call it Barth runs.
Okay.
Where you could go do the easier content, but just to try and get a good parse. But yeah, I tried to do one of those groups and they couldn't get past a certain phase on the boss, and everybody was like, "What the hell? This is supposed to be super easy. Why can't you guys get it?" But yeah, it's a good way to practice your rotation is if you can unlock some target dummies. In Razathan in the capital, there's like one of the guard guys standing in the Aetheryte Plaza, and he's like, "Hey, I got a challenge for you. You wanna test yourself?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then he sends you out to the village where like all the sad stuff with the baby happened.
Oh, that's like the isn't that called like Stone, Sea, and Sky or something like that?
Something like that. But basically what it is you have a target dummy with a certain amount of health, and then you have a certain amount of time to kill it in. And if you can kill it in that amount of time, it means that you do enough damage to be able to down the boss.
Interesting.
So it'll be like, I want to test for, P3S, and you can find it and do the thing. That's how I practice doing my rotation, and finally getting Bard down to some degree. I'm really glad that I'm able to like do well as a Bard. Like if I couldn't figure it out, I would probably have changed no matter how bad I felt about it. But yeah, the fact that I've started improving. Also, I don't know. I do kind of like that extra layer of challenge, and like even in my WoW days, I would almost always go for the more complicated class. The one thing I hate though is melee. I can't do positionals. I hate chasing the boss around.
And staring at boss crotch is never fun.
Well, for the melee, it's the boss butt. For the tank, it's the boss crotch.
True.
I was thinking about making a comic of like what the tank sees, like crotch, what the DPS sees, butts. I was like, what the healer sees, it's like bars.
Bars.
What the summoner sees, Titan butt.
Yeah. I had to change. We have a summoner in our raid, so I had to change the summons down to small because you got to be able to see the floor, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna be progging tonight. P4S Phase 1. That's the thing. We're like 5% off to get out of Phase 1 and get into Phase 2, which I have no idea what Phase 2 is going to be like, so that's going to be fun.
Well, it's the end savage boss of a tier, so I imagine the word you're looking for is insane.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing I'm kind of curious about is I know that with 6.1 coming out, we're going to have stuff like Alliance Raid content. We're going to have Endsinger Ultimate and other stuff with higher item level gear and all that. Would you consider it still a big win if you guys down P4 Savage after 6.1, or is the goal pretty much that you guys really want to get down before 6.1?
How long until 6.1 comes out? I think we're just trying to get it down as fast as we can.
6.1 is currently scheduled for mid-April.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if we could. I think that we probably will. Mm-hmm. Like we're always improving a little bit, but the problem is right now our raid has actually been kind of decimated by Elden Ring.
The lands between.
Nobody wants to show up, or they're showing up late, or they want to leave early, and we've like skipped raid days. The day it came out, it was literally coming out like in the last hour of our raid, so we just like ended early so they could all go play Elden Ring.
That game is just dominating the video game scape these days. I've yet to buy it, and like I want to play it, but at the same time, I have other things keeping me busy.
Well, do you like Soulsborne games? Like, do you like? No. Yeah, that's the thing. It's a Soulsborne game. It's very challenging, and I'm like, I have room in my brain for one difficult thing, and that is going to be Final Fantasy. Other than Final Fantasy, I play The Sims. I play City Skylines. I play my fucking beaver colonies. You know, like Timberborn. Like I'm like Twitch reflexes. One thing only.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you're having some crossover there. It seems like the kind of people who enjoy beating their heads against a savage boss would be the same kind of people who would enjoy the. Mm-hmm. I don't know, like the idea of the entire Dark Souls, Bloodborne, whatever franchise. I've never understood the appeal of it in the least, and I also don't really understand the appeal of savage raiding, especially since they go out of the way to make you understand the savage raids are not canon. So I'm like, okay, if I'm not getting any story out of this that's real, I don't really want to do it. And I'm sure Elden Ring has a great story, but if you're going to make me experience hours of frustration to get to it, no, go away. I've got other things to do.
I do enjoy overcoming a challenge,
mm-hmm.
but I've never really tried to play Soulsborne. I have no idea if I would like it or not. I don't know. I just hear so many horror stories about how hard it is. And like, I'm even watching, the guys in our raid will sometimes stream it and they're always talking about it. And, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I've got my Stardew Valley.
Yeah, and I will also admit that a big part of that is that the culture around that franchise is a complete turnoff for me. You know, the constant stream of, you suck, just get good. I'm like, you know what? If that's the way you're going to be, you can just go fuck off over there. I'm going to go back to my easy mode stuff.
I know it's kind of a big tangent, but and you're right in thinking that like a game like Elden Ring or a Souls game is something that I normally would not have any interest in. But one thing that I've heard, and for those of you expecting a Final Fantasy podcast, you'll get more of it in a minute. But we're going to talk about the live letter. We promise. We're on an obvious tangent for a reason, but. One of the things I've heard about Elden Ring for people who haven't played Souls games before is, at least with most Souls games, if you run into some sort of challenging boss and you can't beat it, then the only thing you can really do is try again and get good and get better. Whereas with Elden Ring, if you run into a difficult encounter and you aren't doing well enough, you can get better by exploring other places and finding things and acquiring things to make your character better to eventually overpower the fight. So that's intriguing to me, and I think that's a fair way to balance things out. There are people who want to do it the most efficient way and just want to prove that they're very skilled, and there are other people who will have to just gradually become more powerful to overcome the thing. That was generally my mentality with MMO bosses and gearing and gaming. So I'll eventually try Elden Ring. It's just one of those things where like it's that's going to be the kind of game I play when I am just really, really good to put away Final Fantasy for like a month or two. And right now I'm not.
I would say with Elden Ring and Soulsborne games in general, the main thing about it is that it's very, how do I put this? It's very, you learn everything by like playing the game. Like there's no tutorials. Nobody tells you how to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that it's the same way also with a lot of the lore is like it's all through environmental design and like cryptic lines of dialogue. They don't really know what they mean. And it's a very specific, I don't know, vibe. And I've really wanted to play Bloodborne for a long time, but that's because I was a Hot Topic goth as a child. And that aesthetic just really calls to me. But yeah, if you guys are like not cool with even doing like extreme trials, I don't know how much you're gonna like Soulsborne.
Oh, I know for a fact I'm not going to enjoy it. I mean, I've got a bajillion other games waiting for me to play. I still haven't touched Horizon Zero Dawn, despite having promised myself I was going to do so multiple times over the past month.
The first one or the second one?
I mean the first
Zero
one.
Dawn. He has to play Zero Dawn to really enjoy Forbidden West.
Exactly. And I've been telling myself one of these days I'm going to get going on Horizon Zero Dawn. Hell, I've been saying I wanted to play Nier Automata since the first Nier raid came out.
Oh yeah.
And I still haven't done that.
I got that on a Steam sale. I also have Red Dead Redemption 2, which I haven't played any since. I also got the Resident Evil Village, which I've been really meaning to play.
Yeah, so
I mean, spooky shit.
Yeah, so my overall point is that Elden Ring is not for me. I am fine with that. I've got plenty of other things I can do that are not going to make me miss that game one iota.
Fair enough.
Oh, Ward's been playing Lost Ark constantly. That's actually what he's doing right now.
Oh yeah, I've heard mixed things about that. I want to try it out just because the class system looks pretty great. I'm a sucker for a good class system.
Like
but at the same time, it's like I see a lot of Korean MMO tropes in it, and I'm like, not sure how I feel about this.
I can't say what it's like to play because I haven't tried it. I just watch it over Ward's shoulder. It literally looks exactly like Diablo, like exactly like copy paste. I'm sure that the classes play differently and the story is completely different, but it's like the same top-down perspective, the same like UI elements all over the place, the same like click everywhere to run, and like the worlds look very similar to Diablo 3 and the monsters look very similar. And I'm like, okay, just stick like an anime boob element in it, I guess, and go for it. And I also know it's just like currencies on top of currencies, on top of lockouts, on top of like, you sure you don't want to pay money? It'll speed it up a little.
Yep. To get back to Final Fantasy, I did also purchase the Final Fantasy 6 Pixel Remaster.
Yes, so did I. I have only played a few hours into it right now. We'll definitely be playing a few more hours on Monday night. This will already have happened by the time people listen to this, but emergency maintenance on Monday night means I'd be playing Final Fantasy 6 Pixel Remaster. That's perfectly okay.
Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, all my raid is talking about Elden Ring, and I'm like, yeah, a new expansion for The Sims came out. It sucks though. It does though. It's fucking bugged.
I'm sorry.
Brandon, what have you been up to lately? I know that you've been a fairly bit busy in your offline life, so I don't know how much time you've had to be in game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know how much I want to say about this, but last week I was traveling again for work purposes. I am supposed to be doing this until school gets out in May. Let's just say that's not going to be happening anymore. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So
Sure.
hopefully this will be the last time you have a boring update from me. I have mostly been leveling jobs on my alt, just kind of focusing on getting her through the role quests. I got Ninja to 90 and completed the melee role quest again. I don't know how much you guys want me to get into my thoughts on that because it's the second time I've done it, but I know you guys aren't so much into the melee, so...
Not yet. I mean, I'll eventually do the melee role quest when I level a melee job, and it's coming because I do want to do like that shared role quest for doing one of each thing. It's a thing on my bucket list of Endwalker things to do. I'm just nowhere near there yet.
I am actually leveling Monk because I know I said I hate melee, but I don't know. I like to punch things.
Who doesn't, right?
Me! I don't like punching things.
It's fun. It's zippy.
Yeah, I must admit, I have been leveling Monk a little bit just in the off time where I'm trying out the new, version of Monk. I gotta say, it's a very big improvement over the last design. I find it a lot more engaging than I did the Shadowbringers Monk. It's been kind of a back burner goal I've had just to, play around with that. So haven't gotten it above 60 yet, but I know a lot of people aren't terribly happy, like longtime Monk players aren't terribly happy with the design, but as someone who never touched Monk really before, I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot more interesting. I think trying to optimize it is way too much of a freaking headache because I'm sitting here really going, okay, I had a Monk at 50 before. How do I play it at 50 now in Endwalker? And I'm getting all these guides with like super optimized openers. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about any of this. Just tell me how the basic gameplay flow is supposed to be. And there is a real dearth of guides out there that are just like, do you not give a crap about EX trials and savage rating? Here's how you basically just get by in dungeon and normal mode content with this job. And
Yeah.
I think there's a market for something like that out there to where you're not just like, okay, here's how you do this optimized opener. Here's when you do your pots. And, here's how you optimize this particular buff.
Oh my
And
word.
yeah, it
Let
just
me
gives
tell
me a
you.
headache trying to understand Monk. But I've gotten to the point where I can, make do with it. But yeah, I haven't done much of anything else other than make new glamours, as I'm sure you saw, or maybe you didn't see, and I don't remember if I posted that in our Discord. But yeah, I made a bunch of glamours, and I'm like, wait a second, I've made a bunch of blue stuff on this character and a bunch of red stuff on the other. Huh? Wonder when that happened.
Oh man, I just wanted to tell you about something nuts
Do it.
that we do in Savage Rating. So there is a tool wherein you can take your parse and you can plug it into this other website and it will be like, here's all the ways that you're fucking up. Stop doing this.
Oh god, World of Warcraft had one of those, didn't it, Ro? Wasn't our raid leader
sure
fond
does.
of posting that after raid night every night?
Yes, he did. Hi, Tetsumi.
I will say it has actually helped me improve a lot. Like, oh man, like the way Final Fantasy plays is so different from how WoW plays. In just like the GCD and the OGCD, that was the hardest thing to wrap my head around because in World of Warcraft, it's like you want like haste to like make your global cooldowns go faster, and like as soon as the button lights up, you hit it, and it doesn't matter if it's like close to another button. You know what I mean? Like in Final Fantasy, it's like you have to hit your GCD like exactly, and you can't let anything else like get in the way of that. And like the different abilities could like fuck with each other, so you have to learn when not to like hit things back to back or like right next to each other. You have to like give it a second. Ooh, I'm just like button light up, press button.
Exactly.
I had to learn how to chill out because I was literally like, you're supposed to maximum do 3 OGCDs at most, but usually should not do more than 2. And I was doing like 8 or 11.
What? How?
Because Bard's nuts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thinking specifically about Bard and how many off globals it has. Yeah, I believe that.
I was doing, like all of my arrows and my this and my that. Yeah, no, don't do that.
Yeah, I know it's a bard, but you're not supposed to play it like your keyboard's actually a piano there, Megan.
Oh my god. The other thing is, like, with Dancer, it's not like don't do too many off global cooldowns. It's like make sure you don't do them too soon after the global cooldown because you get your like animation locked and it'll like screw up your off global cooldown. Man. It's like it all comes down to a very simple principle of like just don't do too many or just like wait half a second before you do it, but like wrapping your brain around it in the moment especially is like, all right, I'm finally getting it. I'm gonna be good. I've gotten good.
We believe in you. You can down the scary vampire man who takes his glasses off in his cutscene.
The dad pyre.
The dad pyre, yes.
Oh man, I got our raid to dress up goth the first night we showed up.
Nice.
Because we did swimsuits for the Phoenix because it was hot.
Right.
And then I was like, guys, we're gonna fight the dad pyre, bring your best goth outfit. And they were all like, what? Oh shit. And like they spent hours trying to decide on glam, so it was adorable.
It's like we always say, glamour is the true end game.
I mean, how else are you going to do high DPS to a goth boss and with goth glam?
Mm-hmm.
Fight fire with fire, fight goth with goth.
In P3S's case, fight fire with sexiness.
That's hot. While you've been doing Savage progression, and Brandon, while you've been just kind of going along there and doing your role quests and stuff, I've been doing a lot of nothing and everything at the same time. What I mean by that is I'm not really doing much in Pandemonium. In fact, I don't think I've been in Pandemonium for 2 weeks. I haven't done a whole lot of gathering, botanist mining stuff or crafting stuff. I've just been doing a modest amount of role playing and gambling, and sometimes
I was going to say, come on, Ro. We all know you're in the casinos. You don't have to lie.
And sometimes role playing and gambling at the same time, because of course it's all about casino RP. I am currently up to 90 million gil.
Jesus.
90 million gil. And last time on A Podcast Reborn, I told you about the time that I gambled 10 million gil on one roll.
I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Can officially say that was broken recently.
Oh my god, bro!
Jesus Christ.
I gambled not 10, but the maximum bet allowed in this one casino of 20 million gil.
Did you lose it?
I did not lose it.
Oh my god!
I bet 20 mil and I won 40 mil.
Oh sweet Jesus! Oh my god!
It was a roller coaster. It was a trip. So for people wondering, where do you even gamble that much gil? There aren't too many places where you can. One place that you can, it's there's this one Lalafell named Ririnji Nananji. I may have butchered her name just now, but Riri for short. And every once in a while, if you check party Saturday or Sunday evening, you'll see a party finder listing on Crystal for Riri's Casino. It's on Mateus, and basically, the interesting thing about this one particular casino is that she advertises it as being non-RP, but I mean, we still pretty much have a conversation and more or less stay in character, but every once in a while she'll bring up an out of character thing. But it's high stakes, but it's also perhaps one of the most relaxed and fun casino experiences I've been to. And I've been to several casinos, and there's a lot of great casinos in this game. I'm probably going to be talking about another one of them before we're done today. But Riri's is pretty interesting and different from most casinos in that with a lot of other casinos in 14, the odds highly favor the house.
Like a real casino.
Like real casinos, in that where the payoff may be only 1.5 times your bet on something where there's a 50-50 chance. The standard dice game that people may be familiar with, where you have to roll 590 or higher, well, that means that the house is favored your 59% to your 41% chance of winning. It's stuff like that. But with Riri's games, it's pretty much even odds. She has...
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I need to have this explained to me from the beginning, because, like, okay, how does casino gambling even work?
Okay.
Like, do you hand over... Who do you give your gold to? Do they, like, hold it while you're playing? Do you just say, I'm betting 10 million, and they take your word for it, and then...
No.
Okay.
You hand over the gill, and with bets that are over 1 million gill, you're going to have to hand over multiple times 1 million gill. The thing about gambling in 14 is that there's some people who think that gambling in 14 is not allowed, or it's against TOS. That is incorrect. It is allowed. It is okay. As long as both sides are aware of the terms of the game, it's handled just like a gaming trading transaction. The rolls are logged. The chat is logged. So you can't scam someone on a gambling thing, because you can be reported for scamming something on gambling, because they can check the logs, they can see who handed gill to who, or the rules listed, etc., etc.
Okay,
So
wait. When you say rolling,
yeah,
like, I don't know what the games are.
Okay.
Like, is it literally just rolling dice?
There are different places do different games. I'll tell you about a couple of the games. One of them, one standard game, is where you make your bet and you do a slash random, or if it's being done in party chat, you do slash dice. Either way, it produces the same effect. Random number from 1 to 999, right? Technically, a 0 can be rolled, but you do random. And with this standard dice game, if you, the player, roll 590 or higher, you win your bet back. Not your bet back. You win, in some places, 2 times your bet. In other casinos where the payoff isn't that great, 1.5 times your bet, which really sucks. So I tend to go only to the ones that pay double on that. So 590 or higher is 2 times your bet. If you roll 950 or higher, or the threshold might be a little different depending on the casino you go to, you win triple your bet. And if you happen to hit 999, you hit like 5 times, 7 times, or 10 times your bet. It varies from casino to casino.
Mm-hmm.
So the lure there is... the odds are against you, but sometimes you can get triple your gill bet back, or you could hit the jackpot and get like 10 times your bet back. That standardized game I just told you about is something that I run myself with all the gill that I have, 2 or 3 times a week, except in addition to the 590 or higher thing, I'll have secret bonus roll numbers where if someone rolls, like, say, 333, that would normally be a loss, but I say, but I'll treat it like a special event roll and give them some sort of bonus or some other. I try to make the experience a little more fun, since it is kind of stacked against the player and such. That's one such game. Another game, that's an example of a game where it's favored the house. But this casino that I went to, where I'm betting like the 10 million and 20 million gill, the games are typically even odds. So, for instance, she does a poker game where you roll random 5 times, and you take the first digit of the number and you treat it like a playing card. So you could end up with like a pair of 2s, a 7, a 5, and a 4. And then you're you make a poker hand out of that. Then the dealer does the same thing, 5 rolls, so it's no advantage or anything like that. And whoever has a higher hand wins. So it's even odds on that. It's basically a coin flip. Whoever has the best hand is going to win the gill there. There's one where it's simple high or low. You declare high or low, you random roll. If it's higher than 500 and you bet high, you win. Otherwise,
my
you
God.
lose.
I'm sorry, that's how you gamble in Animal Crossing. Hey, the little animals will walk up and be like, hey, you want to gamble for this item I have? And you're like, yeah, sure. And they like pull out a little stack of cards, they shuffle it. They're like, okay, high or low? And you pick whatever, and they turn the card over. It's like out of 10.
Mhm.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. That's the only other time I've heard of game high or low, which just cracked me up.
That's fine. There's also blackjack in the game too, which is a little different. So with blackjack, because there's Jack, Queen, and King in the game, you do random 13, and a 1 is treated like an ace, which you can play as 1 or 11. And then if you get 11, 12, or 13, those are face cards, so they count as 10 points. So that's how they handle that's how you handle blackjack in the game. Same, and blackjack rules kind of vary from one casino to another. But there's ways to adapt certain casino games and such like that into 14. And it's just, I don't know. I get a kick out of gambling with virtual money because I would never bet obscene amounts of real cash, but I will definitely bet obscene amounts of virtual cash any day of the week.
Do any of them use like triple triad?
Actually, the casino that I'm going to later tonight after we record here does offer gambling with triple triad. The way they do it is that's Ace's casino. The way they do it is the cards that you play against each other are chosen at random from your collections. So if you're going to play that game, you want to make sure you have a semi-decent collection and have a number of 4 and 5 stars as well as some of the lower stars, because you have no idea what cards you're going to get to play with, and neither does the dealer, really. And so you're playing basically your collection against their collection, random as far as what cards you get. The additional rules are random also, so it's very much a toss. You can't build a deck to take advantage of the other player.
Yeah, that would be, I think, probably a good way to do it. Or another way would be like everybody has to have the same deck and make it like really easy to get cards.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's kind of more of just like up to chance, like who gets the advantage in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then it would be more straight gambling than like any kind of real skill involved. Unless somebody, chokes and screws it up. But yeah.
The reason why I have talked about all of this is because I think kind of a tease for next episode. I've talked to Riri about possibly being on the show for a bit, talking a little bit about like her experience as a casino dealer in 14 and in gaming in general. Might be fun to have a little bit of a chat about. So as Yoshi P would say, please look forward to it. Outside of the casino RP there, I've also been gambling at a place called the House of Virtue, which is a fun little casino. They've got drinking games there, which a drinking game at the House of Virtue is basically the goal is to drink like 8 different shots of exceeding strength. So you're trying to roll you do /random 20 and try not to roll a 1, and then the next shot it's /random 15. So each drink it becomes more and more likely you will roll a 1, and if you roll a 1, basically the drink hits you too hard and you're out. I got to the last drink, and that was a /random 2, which is a 50-50 chance of losing, and it was on the next to last drink that I lost. That was a /random 3. And the person I was playing with, her name's Zim. She's a Lalafell. She got all the way to the last drink, lost on the last drink, and rolled a 1. Speaking of Zim, oh boy. I think one of the reasons why I'm having so much fun with Final Fantasy XIV, guys, is because I'm not doing any hardcore dungeoning or raiding right now, but there's definitely times where I want to do that, but right now I don't. And I've just been kind of into the role-playing aspect of it. The gambling and stuff has been fun, but there's this whole weird little narrative that ended up being created just as a part of happenstance encounters. When I was running my casino thing, this Lalafell named Zim and a couple of her friends showed up, and they decided to gamble at my casino room. Then I bumped into them by chance at another casino later that night. We're talking in character and stuff like that. One thing leads to another. I decided to do something a little cool and silly because I find out that the Lalafell character's like RP job is she's a maid that, cleans other people's houses. So I bring my character over to her character's place and I hire her as a housekeeper.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing is, like, her player has like taken this housekeeping RP thing. As serious as I am about casino RP, she's taking housekeeping RP to another level. Guys, she uses Dungeons and Dragons DC checks for this shit.
Oh my god.
It is insane. She has a spreadsheet. Zim, I hope you are listening. I love the dedication that this player makes to housekeeping RP. It is on another level. I thought casino RP was something. No, you are hardcore when you get into housekeeping RP.
Oh my god. I feel like somebody's gonna be like, oh, you're a maid, wink wink. And it's like, no, literally, I'm a maid.
She's a Lalafell maid wearing a cute little yellow maid dress. It is freaking adorable. I will send you a picture after we're done recording.
My god.
It's absolutely great. Zim, if you're listening, don't ever change, and make sure to feed Suckfish tonight, okay?
What?
That's a story for another time.
Oh dear lord.
I have a large fish in a tank named Suckfish. It inhales shrimp. Anyway.
I have a
taken
Megalodon in my basement.
Nice.
I don't own a home.
Ward caught it for me. So yeah, my name is Megan, and for some reason, Megalodon. When I was like in middle school, I saw a book called Megalodon, and I bought it. It was like this really pulpy story about. I don't know. It seems like they made a movie about it where like a Megalodon comes out of the trench and is like eating people and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's going to be my nickname. So I was like, Megalodon. And yeah. And so when I found out that we could catch them in game and put them in giant fish tanks, I was like, yes. And then hilariously, I also have Megalodon jaws, like the, bones on the wall right across from the fish tank. So he knows not to act up.
Yeah, that's basically been my time. Just I'm having fun in the game, doing things. I technically, some of the stuff that I'm talking about could probably be done in other MMOs, like any other MMO. But I feel like Final Fantasy XIV, the way it's just designed and stuff, and the fact that player housing exists, the fact that people can create different venues and run different types of role-playing things and stuff like that, it's just opened up so many other alternatives to what you do in the game, and I'm just having a blast with it.
I do feel like that's part of the design philosophy is to like play it the way that you want to play it. They considered it from so many different angles, whereas most other games are like a treadmill to get you to end game and then get you on the loot treadmill. And like, yeah, you can role play and you can like gamble, but like there's no player housing or there's no, there's no easy system to like put up like, like the Party Finder where you can be like, hey, I have a casino going on over here. Like there's not really anything like that. It's all
I feel like you're making some very pointed criticisms at a particular title here, Megan.
Fuck off, World of Warcraft.
Hey, we finally said it. All right, so somehow, some way, we've burnt about 45 minutes talking about Casino RP, Housekeeping RP, and Goth Dads, and
P4 Savage, and whatever the hell
Elden Ring
all week.
Yeah, and Elden Ring. Don't forget Elden Ring. I should just call this episode the Elden Ring, the Elden Housekeeping episode.
Oh gosh,
Elden Housekeeping. There we go. Anyhow, let's spend at least a little bit of time talking about the most recent live letter. I'm going to toss the question out to you two, kind of the same way we did the other one. Just like, what are the things that stood out and got you excited about it? I think we started with Megan on the last one. So, Brandon, I'm going to let you take the first crack.
I think what I'm most excited for is probably the same stuff I talked about last time. I'm really excited to get the final role quest. The stuff that's basically after the conclusion of having done all the 5 role quests. I'm excited that they're finally adding the Battle Beast tribe. I was not expecting it to be the Arca Sidara. I really thought they were going to be crafting or gathering because alchemy's kind of their whole hat. But apparently they just decided, yeah, we're going to go fight things for the elephant people. Okay, whatever, let's do it.
Who else is it going to be?
Huh?
Who else would it be? I guess Loprits.
I mean,
they're really into crafting.
Yeah, I feel like the Loprits are going to be the crafting one.
I legitimately thought it was going to be the Omicrons.
But we are beating up an Omega, aren't we? Isn't that what's going on?
Well, there is a thing in here mentioned. It's called Omega Beyond the Rift. It's created to bridge the Omega Raid series with the 6.0 main scenario content. I don't know a thing about what this could be, but I am here for it. I loved the Omega Raids. I enjoyed getting to learn about their culture with the Omicrons and Ultima Thule. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but I cannot wait. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I feel like the Omicrons may end up being the next, if not the next Ascians, one of the next kind of main groups that we end up dealing with, at least from time to time in future expansions.
It's possible, but if their presence in Ultima Thule is anything to go by, they're dead. The ones left in Ultima Thule are just kind of Dynamis recreations, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of expected, at least one of the species we encounter there, maybe not the dragons, potentially the Aya, but I really expected the Omicrons would be oh, hey, we're going to help you, discover a new thing you can do with your need to constantly improve yourself. Maybe you become protectors or guardians or something along those lines. I really thought they were going to end up being the Battle Beast tribe, but apparently they just want to get the Arca Sidara in there as quick as possible, which can't blame them. Those guys are great. I just really thought they'd be tied to crafting or gathering at the very least.
Yeah, and kind of interesting that they're now just going to call it flat out tribal quests instead of Beast Tribe quests, which makes sense. And it really, at the end of the day, it's mostly a word thing, but also by calling it a tribal quest instead of a Beast Tribe quest in the future, tribal quests can be extended to any number of possible groups down the line. If we have a Mercidia expansion, there could be a tribe of humans or a tribe of Lalafels or a tribe of Eldens, and just have a tribal
thing. The term Beast Tribe is kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it absolutely is.
We learned that over time, and especially when you go to the first, and the Lalafels are considered a Beast Tribe.
Right.
It's sort of in our world, the Lalafels kind of popularized the idea that the bestial races are bestial and cannot be trusted, but you can trust us, adorable little potatoes. We're not like them. Yeah.
So yeah, the rest of the stuff we kind of already knew about. More Hildebrand. Okay.
In the first.
Yeah, that I'm okay. You're
oh my God.
to that schedule. That works for me.
It's gonna be like Helpa Brand.
Hey, I'm always happy to go back to the first. I love that place. We're getting an Ultima Unreal Trial, which I think is the first time we've ever gotten an Ultima. Oh wait, no, that's an Unreal Trial. Sorry, I'm reading this wrong. So we're getting a new Unreal Trial that's based on Ultima. That should be interesting. Endsinger EX. I don't want to imagine what that hell fight is going to be like on Extreme.
Throw a planet at me, mommy.
Yeah, it's going to be like an actual one-shot mechanic. Ameliance has a custom delivery. Sure. Speaking of which, what
have you seen the memes?
And yes, I have all of them, and I was going to bring that up. What are you guys going to dress her up as when you're done with that? Assuming you actually do it.
Well, I probably won't, but I will enjoy the cucking memes because, oh God, what's his name? Their father is kind of a dick. Fortunato, it's kind of a dick. Yeah, deal with it, buddy.
All I know is I have a pair of 2B leggings that still don't have a home.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think I'm curious as to what exactly they're going to end up doing as far as like specific details with the revamp to the trust system. They're splitting out the version where it's like, oh, hey, you can run, main scenario duties with these particular NPCs. They're separating that from the actual quote unquote original trust system where you had to like, you could take the scions through the dungeon one time when you did it for the MSQ. And then after that, it was basically all about leveling them up again, which in my opinion was a colossal waste of time. And I don't know why people do it other than to have something to do to say they did it.
Doesn't it give you a title or something? Doesn't it give you a title or something if you get everybody up to level whatever?
You get like an alternate appearance for them that to use in trust, which is kind of interesting because you've got them to max level. So why would you want to do trust again?
And also, you can't even show that off.
Yeah, and it's their old appearances.
Yeah,
I don't know about you guys, but every appearance they've changed into has been an improvement, in my opinion. Yeah. Why would I want to send them back to terribleness?
Ooh. Speaking of vanity things, what do you guys think of this whole new kind of vanity system with like a calling card and such? That's supposed to be more than PvP?
Yeah, it's called the Adventure Plates. It's a profile display feature previously introduced as calling cards. Includes customizable character portraits with a lot of features you can customize. Doesn't say much beyond that. So I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what it's for, but cool.
And is it like something that people see when they click on you, like an examine thing? Okay,
that's supposed to be the thing, and like you're able to customize it and set it so like you can have a different one for when your job is white mage compared to when you have it for when you're say a botanist or whatever.
See, I know from like the right clicking on people in like Party Finder with weird glamours that they'll often have like RP tags of like I'm a sub maid, like that kind.
Okay.
I'll clean up your pants if you get what I mean.
Wow.
But first we gotta put them on the floor.
Oh dear Lord. Please don't go further.
Let me just state for the record that the housekeeper I have is not into that kind of housekeeping. She is also a Lalafell, so hell no. Thank you. Moving on.
Anyway, so yeah, whatever's coming out of that seems pretty cool. We got some clarification on what they're doing to the MSQ roulette. Basically, we're getting everybody up to Gaius as, the new Praetorium. I still want to know if they're going to keep the unskippable monologuing in there, especially from Nero and Gaius. I have to imagine they're going to trim that down. But, we didn't get any confirmation one way or the other on that.
I don't think they are, and the reason why I don't think they are is because it sounds like there's still going to be an MSQ roulette. So if there's going to be an MSQ roulette separate from the other roulettes, I feel like it's intentional to keep the integrity of the story in there.
I suppose that's true, even if it's, to be honest, not really well told. I really don't think we need Nero and Sid monologuing at each other with their jilted lovers routine for all that time, and nor do we need Gaius Van Baelsar telling us how, the people of Eorzea are weak for turning to religion for 30 odd minutes or however long that guy rambles on, just in time to see him do his cool Super Saiyan transformation.
Yeah, when Gaius has his helmet on, all I hear is
anytime I hear Gaius monologue in the MSQ now, I cannot help but be reminded of a time that someone literally paid Gilbert Gottfried to do the Gaius speech.
That was funny.
Have you heard that?
Yes, I have.
I think so, yeah. Oh, boy.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's good that they're, making changes to kind of modernize that design just a little bit, but I'm really going to miss the free level for Praetorium.
True, same.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's like I miss it in theory, but I almost never actually use it because I always like hover over it and I'm like, and I choose something else.
See, I do it all the time just because I know I'm guaranteed to get good XP investment for my time. And like I said, I've been leveling a crap ton of jobs across 2 characters lately. So I spend a fair amount of time in there, especially considering I am now on my last role quest on my alt, which is healer. And the only healer that character has leveled is White Mage. I tried to do a leveling roulette the other day on her, got Aurum Vale, and pieced out after everyone died on the first boss. I'm like, I'm out of practice with this, so I'm just gonna bounce.
Oh my gosh. I'm kind of salty that I'm gonna need to level up a tank. That's like the only thing I really don't want to do. And everybody's like, do Dark Knight, it's so cool. I'm like, my Dark Knight is still like level 31, okay? I don't want to have to go that far.
I mean, I vote you do Gunbreaker just because you have the least amount of levels to get, but that's just me.
I have Gunbreaker up to like 75 or something like that.
Oh,
that's fine. That's nothing to get through.
Oh, you take your Gunbreaker into Bozja for a bit.
I think that's what I was doing before. Like, I was leveling a bunch of classes through Bozja before. I took time. No, did I take any time off before Endwalker? I think I really did. But yeah, the tank is always the last thing I do because I fear responsibility.
I find healer to be way more of a taxing responsibility than tank, but okay.
Well, I feel like maybe I just don't like being in front. I don't like setting the pace.
I mean, that's entirely understandable, but I don't know. I feel like I fail at things way more often as a healer than I do a tank, which is remarkable considering the amount of people we had at a freaking map night last night meant, hey, OMF, you got to go heal. Like, son of a bitch. Okay, let's do this. But yeah, we got 2 full clears of the treasure dungeon, so I guess I can't say I did too badly.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. I've always, it's like I like healing, but then I get really invested and it gets too stressful for me, so I cannot savage heal. I tried to savage heal. I managed to do Wing 1, and then I pugged Wing 2, and it was just like, because like as the barrier healer, it is just so much fucking, like, if you don't have your barriers up at certain times, like, everybody just eats shit. And I was like, oh no.
Oh yeah, don't mistake me. I will never play healer at anything beyond just doing freaking random roulettes and just enough to see job and role storylines. Anytime I'm doing any quote unquote serious endgame stuff, I am DPSing. There's just no getting around that.
Megan, what are you excited for from the live leather besides the obvious announcement of Little Ladies Day coming back to the game?
I love Little Ladies Day, man. You get the little singing emote and the freaking band uniform. Am I thinking of the right one?
I know nothing about this holiday in game. When they said Little Ladies Day begins March 14th, I'm like, is this like a cultural day for Lalafell women?
No. Okay, so in Japan they have Children's Day, which is a traditional celebration. It happens when it also happens in game, and you set up an altar with like these cute dolls on it. And for boys, they're like little samurais. It's very cool. I like just Google like Japan's Children's Day. It's like a whole festival. And then in the game, they generally have us helping out this idol group of like 3 girls. One of them's Lala, one of them's an Aura, and I think the other one's a Mikote, but I'm not sure. It's been a while. But yeah, you help them out. You get like peach blossom potpourri you could throw at people, and you get whatever friggin' pop star costumes that they're wearing this year. So yeah, we've gotten one that looks almost like a marching band outfit, and we've gotten ones that look they're like really traditional Japanese ones that like all the aura under the water wear, like the little high neck, long sleeve, short skirt outfit. Yeah. It's very cute, and that's the fun thing about playing a game out of Japan is that they have holidays that we don't have.
I hear I hear Children's Day, and I'm reminded of Children's Week in WoW, which was a terror when you're grinding for a certain meta achievement for that. Oh my gosh. Never again. Never again.
Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
I think what I'm looking forward to, aren't we like it? They're doing a Savage version of not Savage, Ultimate of oh god, what is it called? With
The Dragon Song War?
Yeah, the big Dragon Song thing with the bridge and all of that. That's going to be bitch, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, but you're not just fighting Nidhogg, apparently.
Well, yeah, no, it's like a whole. You don't remember?
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the original fight was just you versus Nidhogg, and him occasionally shifting to his Estinian form.
Oh man,
the ultimate version.
I'm looking forward to it.
He's enslaved Hraesvelgr, and he's bringing him to kill you too.
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing the picture of them, the two of them. And people
he's got like one of those collars on that you see the dragons and freaking the coils of Bahamut wearing, and it's like, oh no, you can't do that to my favorite dragon in this game. What are you doing? Well, at least until Vreacher came along. But hey, let's not tell him that.
Vreacher for president. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. Also, just like, are we getting more glamour trunk space or just more plates?
5 more plates, and the number of spaces is supposed to be expanded from 400 to 800.
Oh, thank God. I have so much crap, and like at this point, I keep getting more because I have no self-control. And I'm like literally going through like, I haven't worn this forever, I haven't worn that forever, and then later I'm like, man, I wish I still had that, and I like go grind it for it and get rid of something else. So, and I have like 5 things like in my inventory that I'm like, I really want to put this in the thing, but I can't, and I don't want to get rid of it.
What'll that bring us up to in total? Will that make us up to 25?
I believe 20 plates.
Are we only at 15?
I believe we're at 15 right now.
For some reason, I thought it was 20.
I'm generally okay with the amount of glamour plates we have.
I'm not.
Of course you're not.
I have had to discard or basically like make sure that I had, outfits that I was like, okay, I'm taking this off of a plate. Do I still have all the pieces for it? Did I pull any of them out and, into my inventory by mistake? Do I need to keep some of the dye, or do I need to keep this item on a plate because the dye was really expensive?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Like I have one set that I did not dye before I put it in the chest, but on the plate, it is all dyed like pearl white. And I'm like, I never wear this outfit, but on the off chance I ever decide I want to, I can never get rid of this glamour plate because that was way too much freaking money.
Pastel pink and pure white. Those are my weaknesses. And yes, I have 2 outfits on there that I can never delete because they're dyed. And I'm like, I haven't worn this in probably, I don't know, like a year. Because one of them is like a white mage glam. And I don't play white mage anymore.
One of mine's machinist glam, and I'm like, I really liked this outfit at the time, and I don't really care for it anymore, but I can't get rid of it because of the investment. some cost fallacy, I know.
Freaking dye is just like nuts. But yeah, that's like enough to make you go like, $5 for 7 pots, eh?
Not wrong. I bought a like one single pot of the jet black dye from the mod station when it was on sale, just because I did not want to pay the market board prices for it.
Oh my God.
I recently got 2 pots of pure white dye off of a venture coffer. 500k gil each. Yeah. My goodness.
Yep.
Sweet Jesus. I love pure white. Like, there are some items that I think don't look good unless they're pure white. And like, I have a few. Luckily, most of them I like actually dyed the item before I put it in the thing, so it's like always pure white. But oof. So I'll be like, oh, I should dye this, and then I go to the market board, and I'm like,
I think I will wrap up the live letter hype by saying that both of you forgot the most important thing coming to patch 6.1. And
Taru.
well, not just that, but that Hawk Manor is finally getting a teleport after the second boss.
Oh, come on.
Just hit return, bro.
Just hit it. Exactly. It's not that hard. You watched everyone else cast it. It has a long cast time. Just slap the button already.
That confused me so much when people hit return. I'm like, what? Where is everyone? Why are you?
I always explain it. I'm like, hit return to go back to the entrance.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we're gonna hit return to go back to the beginning because the final boss is right there.
But
saves
why?
time. Save the time.
Shut up, Sprout.
Okay, I wasn't gonna go there. Yeah.
Hey, I totally had my Sprout on when that all happened. So
I feel like it's kind of funny that we just absolutely glossed over the fact that we're getting the first Alliance raid in this patch.
I think I'm glossing over it because all we know is it has to do with the 12. And based on the teaser that Emmett said, the true identities of the 12, for example. I don't know if that necessarily means anything. I don't think we're going to find out that Tataru is one of the 12, although that'd be freaking cool if she was actually Naudthal in freaking disguise. I think Naudthal's the 12 in charge of commerce and trade, right?
Oh my god,
I think that's Beer. No, Beergot's the crafter, but you might be right. I don't remember.
Oh my god, what if she is? Because she has insane arcane powers. She just doesn't know how to use it.
Yeah, she's a reincarnation of one of the 12. That's when we fight Tataru.
No, we can't fight her.
No, it'd be like a test, you know.
No, we're her tempered.
There we go. We're all our Tataru's tempered.
I will just say that I am glad that they're bringing this more back in line with, not crossover lore, because the I enjoyed the way they integrated the tactics lore in the Evil East series into Final Fantasy itself. That was okay, even if I found parts of that quest to be just extremely frustrating. But the Nier stuff just so, like, the raids themselves were pretty fun, but the story tie-ins were just so, they could have done so much more with it. It was just so blah.
You didn't love the little twins and the dwarf twins.
The minute I knew I didn't have the option to throw them off the nearest available cliff when they first basically said, "Oh, you're going to do this because you can't help yourself," I'm like, I'm in for a bad time. Spoiler alert. Yes,
I liked them. I thought they were adorable.
How? Please explain me how they're adorable.
They're sassy.
They're not sassy.
Yeah, they are
pieces of shit brats.
Yeah, they're sassy little brats, and then they destroyed their entire village, and then they had to have dark, grim pathos about it with their little stupid dwarf hats. It was great. They're what have I done?
And then they did nothing with it other than set up a freaking invasion of oh, hey, here's all this, heartfelt, good times we share together. And I'm like,
come
you
on.
have not set up this narratively enough. Come on.
Anna went to the fucking 2B planet. I guess she just really likes butts in thongs. And who are we to judge, really? And her brother is like, I'm off having adventures, and I'm going to send you sad letters. 10 out of 10. Lalafels are the best. JK.
My head hurts too much to respond to this.
I did also forget the Unending Codex as someone who is big on the lore of this game and the world and stuff like that.
Oh yes,
definitely big on the whole Unending Codex thing being added to the game.
Yes, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I really hope they just throw in a ton of little just random bits that they don't have room to tell in the game. Stuff that you scroll over the freaking Gamer Escape and whatever wikis to try and clean any sense of who is this random Scion person? I remember meeting them one time, but I don't remember what's so cool about them. I just want them to throw a crap ton of little lore bits in there about, this random adventure that freaking, what's his name? Aramgus, the one random Rose Scion that you meet twice. And, you find out I want them to tell an epic story involving him. And let me go talk to him and be like, hey, I read about you did this thing. He's like, oh yeah, that was a great time. Blah, blah, blah.
I want to know, what is the real story behind Hoary Boulder's girlfriend?
Oh boy.
She wants to sleep with him and his brother a lot.
She wants to be the bridge between two boulders. She wants to be in a roe sandwich, where she is the meat.
Excuse me? A what sandwich?
A roe sandwich. Not you. Although, I mean,
that never gets old. That never gets old.
We have now come full reverse circle with my attempt to say that, the ducks in a row freaking joke 2 episodes ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I'm also not sorry. That, I think, is going to be a fair place to cut it off for now because, I mean, I'm sure people listening to this podcast have Elden Ring to play after all.
Why? Give me back my raid, you bastard.
All right. Megan, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at CatMomMegan. That's MEAGAN. You can find links there to my webtoon, my Tumblr, and see some of my goofy ass art.
Awesome. I like your new avatar on your Twitter, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I did one for me and one for Ward.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Brandon, how about you?
All right, I'm going to do the full rundown this time. THEBMATT on Twitter, Tumblr, and Archive of Our Own. You can find all of my long-form writing that I've done over the years about various MMOs at yourquestlog.wordpress.com. And in addition to A Podcast Reborn, I am also a part of +5 to Hit, where my lovely friend Ro here tries to drive me insane every other week.
And still trying. You can find me on Twitter at RoWCR. That's RHOWCR. And you can find this show on Twitter at A Podcast Reborn. You can email us at apodcastreborn@gmail.com. If you want to find what else I'm up to as far as other video games and stuff go, I may have been a guest host on an old show I did called Realm Maintenance. If you're into Blizzard stuff, talked a little bit about that stuff recently and the end of like one of the longest WoW podcasts coming to an end, and Scott Johnson calling quits on the instance was kind of a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. I
Yeah.
didn't know about that.
Yeah, so I was on Realm Maintenance talking about that, so you can check that out if you want. +5 to Hit, of course. Pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. And yeah, as for the other stuff, like I said, our next episode in a couple weeks, we should be having a guest on, Riri, to talk a little bit about her experiences as a casino dealer in 14 and gaming in general. So look forward to that. The theme for our show is Alex Moukala's Imagine Boss theme for Endwalker. Check out his YouTube channel for a lot of great music. A link to it can be found in the notes for this podcast. And that music, any other 14 music that you hear on this podcast, belongs to Square Enix. No copyright infringement is intended. That's going to do it for episode 9. Episode 10, double digits, is just in a couple of weeks. For Megan, for Brandon, and of course, as always, for Butterscotch, this is Brian Black. Until next time, may your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon.
Did you guys know that in an attempt to promote literacy in Alamigo, Ralbon's starting up a book club? It's true. They're going to start with his favorite book, A Farewell to Arms.
Not even right at all.
Wow.
I make no apologies for these at all.